So this morning I went for another one of my therapy sessions. This one was just for 1 hour, and I'm going back again next week. And it's really getting interesting now because she's finally working her way past my philosophy and spirituality and other varying egoic facets and centuries and protectors and all that sort of thing. So together we're working out what's actually going on within what most people would understand as the self. And so I've said in many of my videos that I am Legion, and that we have varying amounts of spirits partaking in our Earth sojourn. And Carl Jung spoke about archetypes, and there are notions of angels and demons and narcissists, characters which come about kind of like egregores. There's an essence of an energy which just makes manifest through the years and becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. And so this particular therapy session is very, very powerful and very interesting, and we're only just beginning looking at these spirits, facets of self, characters, personas, whatever we want to call them. But there's lots of these within me, and I've realised many of them, and I know what their jobs are, I know what their dispositions are. And one of these characters, which is a very prominent, powerful character, I've named Supercilious. And supercilious means haughty and condescending and that sort of thing, and so I adopted that supercilious character many years ago now, and I made videos where I'm wearing some sort of a plastic mask, and I was in character of supercilious when I was making videos using that persona. And so I've spoken to the therapist about the protector, the censor, the spiritual facet, the egoic facet, but there's lots of intricacies that we're working on. And I'm going to have to think about these things so I can present them to her to make it easier for her the next session. I'm going to present the characters to her, and when they come about and what roles they play, because it's all role playing, people. And I already said to her in the session today that this character, that supercilious, it's kind of like it's just a habit now. It served its purpose through difficult times, through my spiritual awakening and that sort of thing, and I suppose supercilious served a purpose in my formative years, because these characters, they start to manifest when we have very profound experiences, and we have different characters pertaining to whatever experience. So today we spoke briefly about the joy and the spirit and the cosmic connection and all that sort of thing, and that's all wonderful, but that's only a facet of what is going on in here. And so this video that I'm going to be putting up after this one would be interesting for anyone that's remotely interested in psychology, their psychology, therapy, and discovering characters and energies, agencies within the so-called conglomerate of the self. You see, many people have said that there's no such thing as the self, because you look for the self, you can't find it. But before the notion of self is obliterated, we can find archetypal kind of egregoric energies. There are energies, spirits, which manifest within us, and they role play. It's like in that Jim Carrey film, The Mask, when Jim Carrey is all confused about the power of the mask, he goes to see a psychoanalyst or therapist, and this guy's saying, yes, well, I mean, the persona and the roles we play and this, that and the other, and Jim Carrey's going, no, this is real, you know, this is not a metaphorical mask. When I put this mask on, shit happens. And the therapist is talking about the metaphorical roles of personas and characters and all that sort of thing. So yeah, it's really interesting, and I'm finding it fascinating, and it's another level of my personal self-discovery and journey. And I suppose I'm a good analysand, let's say. Somebody who, a psychologist, she's not an analyst, but I suppose she's more of an inquirer. She inquires, and she wants to find out the varying facets and personas and energy forms that we have, which manipulate us and cause us to have addictions and propensities and aversions and all these different sorts of things. If we look closely, people, we'll find that they all kind of like, you can regress, you can what's the terminology for dismantling? You can go back to source, and you can find the origin of these characters which are role-playing. And I said to her, well, this supercilious character, I feel intuitively that he's obsolete now, and yet it's just a habit, it's just something I've been doing for all these years whilst I've been making video, not really living in the real world, you know. But I say to my therapist that I am actually living in the real world. The real world is the spiritual world. It's the cosmic God conscious world. We're all spirit having a fictitious human experience, but I can't get too deep and metaphysical about that stuff because it's not her bag. She wants to bring me back down to the characters which are role playing, and so yeah, it's very interesting. And so without labouring the point, you can tune into the next video where we're just beginning on this, and we're going to continue next week and start where we left off and see what we can discover about these characters. And she's asking me and the characters how we feel. Is there any resentment? Is there any restriction? Is there any, I don't know, what's the word? Resistance. Is there any resistance from these characters? And I'm like, I don't think so, otherwise I wouldn't be here. Because she's always asking me, so who is it that wants you to be here? Who is it that doesn't want you to be here? Does Spirit not want you to be here? And I'm like, I don't think Spirit really has a boat in the race, so to speak. Spirit just is. I think we need to investigate the ego and the facets of persona and characters and role playing. I think that's where we need to investigate, because spirit, it can't be narrowed down, it just is. We know we can narrow down certain facets of personality, personas and characters, and you know, angels and demons and all those different sorts of things. We know we can narrow those down. We can start to corner those. And lots of these characters are very evasive and they don't want to be cornered or narrowed down. And so when police investigate somebody, or a psychoanalyst is instructed to analyse a criminal, well, they're going to be very, very devious personas within, and they're going to do everything in their power to stay hidden and to deceive the therapist or psychoanalyst and the police. But I have requested this because I want to investigate these characters with someone who is professional and able to do that with me. And so I'm going to be telling her what I've already discovered, and then she's going to have some sort of method of assistance, and you know, I'm just kind of curious as to what it's going to be, but I think it's revolving around the kind of like, yes, thank those characters and release them, tell them that you don't require them anymore and all this different sort of stuff. And so I can already see the end of the game we're playing here, and I already know that all of my characters, that they're all fictions because they're personas. There's nothing real here. We look for whatever's real, and there's nothing real. There's just shadows, people. Shadows are created when we are hurt as children, and when we feel threatened and insecure, and when we've been abused and different things like that. So we create these imaginary friends that role play and protect us, and but then there comes a point in our lives when we have to look at them again and go, okay, well, I'm 62 years old now, and you know, you've been with me probably most of my life, if not all of my life. Maybe it's time just to, you know, part company, because we're in a pattern. We've kind of like got an addiction because we've been so familiar with each other for so long, and I think it's run its course, you know. I think Supercilious has run its course. Whether it was very helpful in my life, who knows? If I investigate that further, maybe I'll come up with the answer. But I think there was a reason and a purpose for its manifestation, and because it's been with me so long, there must have been a part of the ego which considered it valuable, otherwise it wouldn't have been entertained for so long. And so in other videos of mine I've been speaking about, do you have any gremlins, any attachments, any demons which have clasped onto you at some stage through your life, and maybe, you know, you're getting a secondary gain from them. They're serving you in some sort of a way, maybe a bit like a protector. They're kind of like little gremlin, kind of like, you know, destructive beings. And they keep away potential lovers and friends because they're loose with their tongue, and they're kind of like they can be vicious and snake-like, and that they do the job. They keep many people away, and I suppose I've been doing that for many years. But she's asking me, does Spirit really want to give up this beautiful bliss that you speak about? And I'm like, I don't know, you know, I really don't know. I would say that for the better part, no. But and it's difficult to work out what these agencies are. I can't pinpoint this particular agency, whether it's spirit or whether it's ego. But there's something that's keeping me in my cave, and we speak about the disappointing factor of life. Life is very disappointing in lots of respects, but it's a case of, well, when you're going to accept that that's just the way it is. What do you do before enlightenment? You chop wood and carry water. What do you do after enlightenment? You chop wood and carry water. What are you going to do? Your spirit is having a human experience. What are you going to do? Stay in your freaking cave forever? I've made up my mind I'm not staying in my cave anymore. 16 years. You know, you only do 9 years in Great Britain on a life sentence. You get your first opportunity for parole after 9 years. 16 years is some time. And so, it's time for parole. So anyway, check out the next video and see if it's useful to you people.